Welcome everybody to actual live stream I'm doing today. Bring myself up here. There I am. In my, you know, I'm in my basement studio, and it's an amazing thing that what you can do to a basement. You just knock out a few walls and you get a view like this. This is actually a green screen behind me I'm using, and along with XSplit camera and some technical wizardry, or what do you want to call it, to put a nice little background here. I kind of like this background. Okay. It's just nice. I'll grab your coffee. This is going to be a different type of live stream because I want to make some notifications, especially for people that were watching me on YouTube. This is the first day I just got off of a 1-week strike against my channel. And I want to just let people know that I'm back on. Okay. So I will be editing and posting another video, but I'll do a commercial for it on YouTube, and you'll have to go to Rumble to watch it. Sorry, folks. And it's just the way it is. And plus, I'm working on getting my Rumble channel up so I can live stream to that instead of YouTube. I can do YouTube too, but if I get a second strike, I'm out for 2 weeks, can't post anything. If I get a third strike, my whole entire channel is deleted. And I think there's getting close to 1,400 and some odd people, maybe getting close to 1,500 people on my channel right now. And you guys will wonder what happened to me, but I'm just letting you know. Censorship is real. And this is this I had to strike one time before, but that ran out almost a year ago. But this one, I don't know. It was on an older video that I did. It was an older video that I did, and a certain particular year and time and date that I cannot even say because that would probably thing. And I was tagged for misinformation. And what I had on my video was not misinformation. And as a matter of fact, everything I had on my video has been verified by current news reports. And a lot of it came out of the Durham report. And this, and a governor that something was about, and I said something about a particular governor and an event that happened up there that turned out to be true. So I do not know how what I said was misinformation, and they take no appeals whatsoever. And yet, very few people seen the video. I think it was like 86 people, very small group of people, and even seen it. So let's go ahead and kind of get started. So I just want to let you know what happened. Censorship is very real. So today I'm just going to bring up the chat. Okay. And I don't know if I can get the YouTube, Facebook people to be able to chat or not. So let me just look real quick here. Okay. I'm not sure if I can get the Facebook people logged in here. The channel's up and running. So let's look here. Okay, let's look. I got my phone. I got to look on the Facebook people. So bear with me, Facebook people. I'm trying to see why you are not appearing in the chat. So there's some type of glitch that's going on with Facebook and the chat here. I don't know exactly what Facebook is doing. So I'm looking. Okay, Facebook, what happened to you? Don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully Facebook is even running. I have it logged in, so it should be. So anyway, just type in some questions. We'll just go here and I'll start answering some questions. But I just want to talk a little bit about some things. And just to get started, I want to go back in history for a second. And I want to bring this up on my phone. There's an old song that was sung by Simon and Garfunkel, It was a song written by the group Disturbed, and Simon and Garfunkel way back in the late 60s, early 70s made this a really big hit, especially in the 60s here. And I was a kid back then. But this is a very dreary song, and I don't really care for it. But I heard a harpist play a YouTube video, and she was playing this harp, and this deer was walking around. She was playing the song. I don't like the song. I really don't. I mean, it's too dreary, too melancholy. It was actually designed that way, and so, and I'm not going to, I can't read the whole song, but this is off of lyrics.com. If you want to look up A Sound of Silence by Disturbed, that's sung by Simon and Garfunkel. Go to online, type in lyrics.com, go there, type it in and find it, and it comes up on public domain there. So let's see. And these words are very true today. And so I'm going to read this from the phone here. It says, and this is the third verse, okay. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. End quote. Well, that's pretty interesting. And this next verse, I won't read the whole thing. It says, "Fools, said I, do you not know silence like cancer grows?" And then it's the last two stanzas on the fourth verse says, "But my words were silent, raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence." Okay. Then the last verse and is pretty profound, but is basically about being silenced, having your voice removed, and no one paying attention to you, people distracted, people doing this, doing their own thing, and suddenly they all wake up and they realize that am I back again? Did I lose the chat? Well, folks, I have no idea. Looks like my old problem is a remain, so I'm going to have to go up here and not what I want there. I'm going to turn this one off. Okay. Okay, I'm glad you guys are coming back. I lost my connection again, so I went off and turned off one of the Facebook pages and see if that'll fix it. There's a little issue going on Facebook right now. It seems like even when I did a show last night with Shannon Davis and did a radio show, and we had streaming problems. It wasn't at my end. It just something's going on. But anyway, I was talking about The Sound of Silence, and The Sound of Silence, that song is pretty dreary. And those verses that I read earlier, hopefully you can go back and look at that. But we're just about a sound of being silenced, and that's what many people are facing today. You can speak the truth. You can have your documents backed up. You can prove it beyond all doubt. But certain individuals don't want you to speak, and so people just are being silenced. It's not a very good feeling to be devalued as a human being with absolutely no rights, all for a fake sense of revenge and equity and fairness. And, it really is a peculiar situation we're finding ourselves in. And a lot of people walk along and they think that this doesn't apply to them, but it will. It will. It will hit you. If you haven't seen what was going on in Switzerland over in Davos just recently, and what was posted on Newsmax, The Hill, Epoch TV, Fox News even, they're all saying the same thing, the same exact thing I've been saying and other people have been saying for months. We have some people who actually think they own the world and want to take control of the world, where we own nothing and we will be happy about it. And that is their goal. You heard them on the news. They want to censor you. They want to track everything you buy, sell, or eat. What you're seeing, folks, is the foundation being laid for Revelations chapter 13, where no one can buy, sell, or eat. Yeah, the Bible's true. I don't care what people argue about it. The Bible is true. So you have these individuals up there in the halls of power doing this stuff, and it's kind of an amazing thing to see. And you wonder if anybody's listening, and it's like that dreary song, people talking without speaking. And so, in other words, you can't talk the truth. You have a narrative and only that narrative, and they have it all mapped out. And when you have the head of this organization stating that he has his people in various cabinets and governments of the world, you should really take note, especially when they say build back better. Now how do you like build back better idea that comes from the United Nations World Economic Forum? How do you like build back better? High gas prices. And there are shortages beginning to happen. We were at the grocery store. We noticed more blank shelves, bare shelves. I think year 2020, 21 era was a little worse than it is now where we live, but we're starting to get that. Gas prices are going up the roof. No one's going to drill. And we're told that this is we'll love it. We'll suddenly invent solar-powered airplanes and jet aircraft. We'll suddenly, everybody will just buy $100,000 and $200,000 electric car. Everybody's going to throw their money and put solar panels on their roof. I tell you, we don't have that. If you get rid of oil, you will no longer have plastics. You will no longer have wire put in your houses to insulate for your wires for electricity that they are touting so much. In fact, our electrical grid will be taxed to the max right now. So you need to use the resources that are here that we have. And if there are going to be any so-called limited resources, we're all going to run out and we got to save planet Earth and die. Well, at least you use the resources now to prepare for that event. But these people don't think that way. They don't think normal way. They don't want to give you time to adjust for it. The individual I'm speaking of wants to just push an agenda on people really quick and fast. This new industrial revolution he wants to push will be instant. You don't have time to think about it. This individual was interviewed in his house, and on his shelf on his house is a little figurine of Vladimir Lenin. So you know which pendulum he swings from. So that's pretty much what we're facing, a sound of silence. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing here is going to be answering some questions. We're just going to talk a little bit more. I don't know. I was actually just doing this live stream because I didn't know if I would be back on. And I was just planning to do Facebook. But so I look at a couple of things, and unfortunately, Facebook people can't use the chat. I only have my Afterlife group right now on the stream. I took off the main channel for some reason. Something about Facebook is causing, let me go this here. It seems like there's an issue with Facebook that's causing the stream to drop. So I'm doing actual live stream. Now, if I pre-record and upload it and re-record and come back on after the record and just do YouTube or just do Facebook or just everything seems to work. So just want to let you know. And so that's what the issue is with the stream. I don't know why that is. And now I just noticed that we used to have Facebook, and Facebook users used to put in the comment section and they would come up in the live chat. That no longer works. Don't know why. And so I wish it would, but I looked into that, and it was something to do with an incompatibility issue. I don't understand that well. It worked before. And this is Facebook incompatible with the streaming device. I don't know why. But anyway, so we got some really interesting things going on in the world. Anything on your mind you want to talk about? Ask questions, just let me know. Okay. All right. So anybody? No, we only have a few people on. Hallelujah. Okay. All right. Anybody have anything? Okay. Now let's look at a couple of things here. Just want to talk a little bit. I am going to. I did some videos for Randy K, and I never expected the videos to go viral. As my testimony on the Randy K Ministry channel, YouTube channel, I have 910 or 11,000 or 12,000 views. On Destiny Image, I think I have 177 or 178,000. So I have well over 1 million views of my testimony. I did a documentary back in 2008. Flew out to California to do that, and on several different channels that now run it, we have 6 or 7 or 8 million views on that. Other things I've done and other things I've done throughout the years that they film me on a couple places at a mega church I spoken many years ago. That's up there too, getting up close to 1 million views in different places. It's all over the place. Excuse me. So with that, I did some more interviews and so forth, etc. And when I find out when another show is going to come on, I just need to hear from Randy when he's going to post it. We did another show, and it's going to be on his TV show, and so that'll air, and I'll let you know more details on that. But with all that, I got to tell you, I'm finishing up my book on heaven. That's what I'm doing. So I just want to make an announcement. So I went back into it, got the old copy out, and looked at it, and I'm 2/3 done. So I'm going over what I've already written, and all of a sudden I started editing it myself, and so I'm chomping at the bits to get to the part where I need to add. I'm right at that point about now. I'm very close, and I'm taking some things out of the old section, and then I'm going to put there. And people go, "Why didn't you finish your book on heaven?" Because I started writing it sometime after I wrote my first book. And so, why didn't you ever finish it? And why don't you ever share it? And so, well, it's about my experience of seeing heaven. And I did a take on Randy K's ministry as well. That has like 178,000. I can't remember how many views, but that's it was the reason I didn't is one is very personal to me, because it's just for me only, and it was to calm me down about what happened to me when I was and everything. And people would doubt it. And the other thing that stopped me was simply It didn't really, it was more for me. And then also it's very emotional to write. That's another reason. I'm going over and checking over what I previously wrote, getting up to the point near where I need to start finishing it up. I'll finish it real quick as soon as I get to that point, and then get a publisher and get all that. I got to send it all out and get everything finalized and get it published. And it was very emotional because I'm sitting here writing parts about it, and I'll start crying or I'm weeping because of things that I just, because you actually long for heaven. And if you ever actually, and people who actually ever did see Jesus will tell you, I'm talking about real encounters, not fake ones. And there are a plethora of fake ones out there. Your memories of seeing Jesus is you never leave you, and you will weep. And so it was very emotional. And so, it's mostly what happened in my heaven experience was simply to heal my heart of what I've been through when I died. I died in 1980 drinking bad water at a construction site, contracted cholera, dehydrated, and actually died, and resuscitated, got drawn back into taken to a hospital after I was found, and I died along the way on the road on the way there and came back. But it's something you just don't forget. And people who know me back then, at that time when I was younger, I bounced around between an agnostic belief that there might be something to atheists. Then I went full blown atheist, and I moved away from where I lived and ended up in Tucson, Arizona. I was pretty much a very militant atheist with a chip on my shoulder, daring anybody to knock it off. And so, and what happened, and people can doubt it, and I don't really care if people doubt it. And so the reason why I didn't want to, it took me so long about heaven, beside it is an emotional book. I just thought, man, people ain't going to read this. People wouldn't want to read this. They don't want to know about this. And then again, how do I write it? I can write it in a straight formal form. This happened in a sequence, or I can make it interesting. So what I decided to do was use a similar format that I did before in my other book. I'm using creative nonfiction. I'm using real life events in my life in order to convey what happened to me in heaven. So I had many, many radio interviews. And so I'm modeling it off of several radio interviews I had. I'm sitting in the studio and they're talking, getting ready to interview me, and what's going in your mind as you're sitting there waiting, and the weather report, news report, station break, all that required stuff comes on, and then they play a few songs and you come back on. And it's really, that's why I like radio so much, because it's just a fun thing to do, and you're sitting there and all the stuff that's going on, and the guy who the head technician in the back is doing his thing. It's just amazing how professional radio stations work when you do something live. So this is based off of a Denver station that I did. I was there twice, and and so I kind of combined the two, and I don't remember everything that was said, so I'm just kind of adding to that with some changing the names around, the studio's names around, and just how things are. And then I'm leading right into the story of heaven and how I got there, and it just kind of flows in there. Then I'm going to talk about heaven. And so that, and I hope it blesses you if you do read it. Like I said on the interviews, there's no new revelation. Nothing new. I don't know the next president's name. I don't know anything about the future or anything like that was ever revealed. It was more just for me and what happened, and to calm me down about seeing a very awful place. And I tried to do a live stream, but it didn't work on my phone. I went to the sculpture garden, and I don't know, I don't have time to bring that picture up. I should have brought it up, and it'll take too long to bring that up right now. And let me just take a peek and see if I can bring it up. And if I can bring this picture up, you'll see what I mean. Where is it? Where would I put it? Okay. Okay, I don't know if I even have it here. Okay, where did I put it? See, I should have got prepared today to show you some pictures and put this up, but I didn't. That's amazing. So just bear with me as I talk here. So what it is a sculpture garden, and I'm going to back out of that. Try this again. Okay. Oh, there he is, right there. Hold on, folks. I think I found it, but I have to do a little work here. Oh, well, when you want to do something, nothing ever works. You want to copy, paste something so you can find it. And I want to go over here to, and I want to paste this in this file so I can find it. Now it won't let me even do that. Wow. Oh, amazing. Talk about technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to have to go out here to do graphics. And I'm going to have to I'm going to upload something here so you can see this thing. Now I got to find it again. Where did he go? Okay. So I'm walking along, and I want to I'll talk about this as soon as I get these pictures up here, and you can actually see what I'm talking about. It'll be good. It just takes a little while to set this up. I'm almost there. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I went back to the sculpture, taking my phone, trying to do a selfie. I need a selfie stick, and I'm trying to do this fancy stuff, but it didn't work, So I went to the sculpture garden. I can't pronounce the name of it, and it's where they have some African art and some other art there. It's a big sculpture garden, and so they have different sections in the African art section, which is about daily life in Africa and stuff. And some of the statues are actually very good, and it's a really nice place. And so I was walking along with I think my brother-in-law and my wife's family was there, and my wife, and we were walking along in 2007. My experience happened in 1980. So in 2007, I'm walking along with them, and I spied this statue off in the distance. So to bring this up, and I said, I see this thing, and I would tell my brother-in-law, this looks just like something I saw when I died. This looks like, and I said it. Looks like a lizard breath, and this is pretty creepy. To 17 years later, be walking in a sculpture garden in Johnstown, Loveland, Colorado area, and near an outlet, near a mall. It's right behind the mall, Centera Mall. And so I'm walking along, and I see this thing. And the only thing that this entity lacks, this statue, is the dinosaur tail. But there he is, the closest representation of lizard breath. And this position here, looking straight at him, is pretty intense, isn't it? Just imagine staring at that thing and talking to you. His breath is so foul that it distorted and came out like heat waves do off the pavement, so you could never really tell how many eyes he had. And this thing hissing and spitting, and then all of a sudden, you are seeing the same thing 17 years later in the African art section. I'll bring this up again. And during that time when it was opening week or whatever, underneath that sign where it says the Traveler, it had a little display case. It told the history of this, and it was a Swahili name that's translated to Traveler. And this is in the spiritual section now. This is the entity that in a Swahili thing would escort you into the netherworld. When I read that, folks, I about freaked out. Just look at that thing. That's lizard breath. And he's supposed to be very kindly, but look how kindly he looks. Would you like to have that thing? So that's what I was seeing in real time, real life. About 4'8", like I wrote in my book. Looked like a little dinosaur. He had a thick tail, stubby tail. This statue did not have a tail. That's the only thing it lacked. But the facial feature, the body shape, everything is the same. And except this thing I saw was real and very wiry and moved very quickly and very short, stubby arms and little long fingernails or these claw-like things. Yeah, pretty wild, isn't it? So I went back down there the other day to do a little film shoot, but my video did not turn out. So I will have to go back down with an actual selfie sticks and learn how to aim that thing so you can now just talk about what happened. But I just wanted to show you that. Yep, that was old lizard breath. That's what I nicknamed him. And that's the entity that I wrote about in my book, the one that I had to follow. I didn't know what else to do. And he ripped his hands through the wall of that cube or cell and went up and stepped up out of there. That's the entity. That's the thing that was in front of me the whole time I was there, showing me things, trying to entice me to curse him, curse God, curse myself, curse the devil, curse. And it wasn't a friendly little thing either. It was a very evil. So I want to tear you to shreds. And these entities hate human beings, and they love to deceive them. And they deceive a lot of them. They like to deceive people with visions of grandeur. And so when you have visions of grandeur, you know that people are under the influence of such things like that. And we have a whole bunch of politicians, world elite, corporate giants, personnel who want to move everything into neo-Marxist utopia. You own nothing. You own nothing, and you'll be happy about it. And the U.S. won't be the world's leading superpower. That was like 2015 or 16, something when that video came out. Now they took it off their website because it was too controversial. Goes on to tell you that you eat less meat, and meat will be just a treat. In other words, treat to the serfs. These people, are really out there and being controlled by things that kind of resemble this. There are whole different shapes and sizes of these things down here, but this particular one, is not a very nice one. And when I read that description here of it, it kind of freaked me out, especially when I saw, the name Traveler. It's the one who escorts you into the netherworld or the afterlife, and also to guide you in your journey to life, to the afterlife. How you like that? In other words, saying guide you to death. So 2007, 17 years later, when I saw this thing, because that was opening year, as the year that it was opened, and we're walking around there and saw all the signs, where all the art and all the descriptions were, but that descriptions had long gone. I think after whatever a year, they took all those down, and it's kind of an amazing thing. In fact, I actually went back there the day after, in February, or I think it was February, I can't remember. No, it was in spring, Let me look here at the picture. This is the day after I saw them. So yeah, the grass is brown. So it had to be early spring. So I'm thinking, yeah, or even the fall. I don't remember when the actual opening day or week was, but yeah, it was. So out there in Colorado, everything's brown. And so I took this the day after. I had to go back and take pictures of it. So thought you all might like to see that. Kind of strange, isn't it? But what do you think if that happened to you and you saw something like that after 17 years and you're sitting there looking at it and your relatives are there and they're thinking, oh my God, he just lost his mind. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. So anyway, let's look at here any comments here. Yeah. Randy K's YouTube channel is Randy K. Okay. Yeah, Jody, you don't have to. Okay, so Jody said this. You don't even have to dig up there. Yeah, when I never expected it. I just thought I was just doing another interview because I like doing interviews. They're fun. Okay, let's see. There's something here that I want to see. Yes. I'll put this up. Veronica says Masons call themselves travelers. I have to look that up. I never heard about that one. I mean, I don't know if that, I take your word for it, but that's interesting if they do. That's pretty interesting. Okay. Michael Heiser. I haven't read this book yet, or his look on the Valley of the Travelers from Scripture in his Demons book. I haven't got that book yet. Would love to be able to interview him sometime and just pray that they come about. But, I know we need to keep praying for Dr. Heiser because of his health conditions and his pancreatic condition, and just keep praying that he gets healed and goes in remission and he lives a long life. And he's still needed around to write more books. The Valley of the Travelers. In fact, Derek Gilbert and I in our interviews, this last interview I did with Derek Gilbert, we talked about the Valley of the Travelers just in passing. And so that's where these spirits are come up or conjured up out of these holes in the ground and travel about. Okay, they give you an idea. I'm doing no justice to Dr. Michael Heiser and Derek Gilbert right now because they know more about this than I do. So I'm just telling that's pretty much my take on it. And yeah, a lot of Michael Heiser fans here. Yeah, I got some of his books. I like his book on Enoch. I was researching the book of Enoch. I was deciphering the names of all the fallen watchers that were there that he had listed, and so there's 20 of them, depending on which version of you have, the Ethiopian or another version, and of Enoch, first Enoch. And I got about 1/3 the way through there translating it, and it's very hard to translate, and because you got to do some digging and you got to do some research. And so he came out with his book. I got it and go, oh, he has all the translation, all the meaning of the names. That helps me a lot in my research. And what I was looking for, because I know the names describe the character, and I was seeing their character trait and how and what they did, like teach enchantments. What type of enchantments were they teaching, so forth, etc. And that's what I was looking into. I may teach on that at some time, but if I could ever swing an interview with Dr. Michael Heiser, I would love to go over that because he would probably know more. He knows more about it than I do. So to see how the names correlate with the descriptions, they're very brief descriptions, and how to define what type of enchantments are being spoken of by the very meaning of the name. And he has them all listed there. So I just thought it was very fascinating. I use a lot of Michael Heiser's research in a lot of my videos on old gods and so forth, etc. and other things. Okay, let's look here. Yeah. Seeing that little creepy statue must have been a complete mind blow for you. Yep, it sure was. Had to go back there. Been back there a few times and just standing there looking at it, shaking my head. And the traveler looks like something from a First Nation totem pole. Well, this is in the African art section. And so these entities are cross-cultural. I want to tell you, you will see faces like that on totem poles. You go into in the Southwest, and though they don't look exactly like that, but some of the rock art they have there, and of their deities and stuff, or their thunderbirds, whatever they're trying to portray, will show something similar to this. Okay, and not quite, but yeah, it's something that First Nations people. This thing, they don't, there's something going on here. There's something really going on here, but people want to deny that type of aspect. Okay. Yeah, Derek Gilbert interviewed me on The Bunker on his podcast. And before that podcast, we're talking about it. And I'm looking at trying to get on what is known as Subsplash. It's very expensive. He's on it, where I can actually do a podcast like that. It will be from my website, or I can actually post my own videos there. I don't have to fear of censorship. And also, I get an app. And people want to download an app and also get if I want to, possibly have a YouTube spot. Not a YouTube, but a Roku channel where I can stream to that live and do that. It'll be, it probably won't be very big, but you never know. But it's just a little Roku channel and that they have. And so, Derek and I were talking about that. So that's kind of what I'm looking into. So thank Derek for motivating me to look into that. I've been looking into that. That's why I haven't updated my website, for those of you who are wondering. It's simply because I'm looking at that. Hopefully I can get some answer on that soon enough, but I just don't know. I need to check it out more because there's a lot of money and I just don't have that kind of money. So so we're just looking at it, and you have to keep that kind of money flowing every single year. And it's like Josh Peck, he has his own website, but he has it's the Daily Renegade. And that costs a lot of money to run before, it's a professional thing, and you have to have ability to post videos to it, and you have to have the cloud space and all this stuff, and somebody design it, put it all together, and maintain it for you. It costs money. So a lot of people in the field here are looking into things like that because we know what the sound of silence is like. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, everyone knows Masons go by travelers. I actually did not know. I would think that I would know that, but I did not know that. I honestly did not know that. Who knows? I could have read it and never registered in my brain, But I don't know. It's one of those things. I just slipped my mind. So I will do that. I will, like Mr. Dutch says here, I will look up fellow traveler. Now, I do remember that phrase from reading on a Masonic site I was doing research on, and they did talk about fellow travelers. Yeah, I do remember that, and looking at Albert Pike's stuff as well, something about fellow travelers. So thank you. So they obviously did. Yeah, Albert Pike, I won't get into him right now. So, okay. Says, hey, you would really like a book called Key to the Sacred Pattern by Lincoln. Okay, I'll try to look that up and see if I can find that. That's interesting. Okay. Look up the etymology of feller, and it's to make fall. Huh. So a fellow traveler makes sense to make fall. Yeah, that actually does to me. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And in essence, that's what that thing was doing, trying to get you to fall. Yeah, yes. And Sonia's here. Hello, Sonia. Let me go down here. So, on a slightly different note, are you seeing the U.S. culminating in Telios and Centelios into the little horn that seemed to have died and yet lived? I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say here. I know what you mean. Culminating. We're heading in that direction. The stage is being set for its acceptance and him coming on the stage according to the book of Daniel. And for those of you trying to figure this out, I'm trying to watch my words, really am, because of the sound of silence that's out there. So the United States, Canada, the entire world is moving toward the acceptance of this entity called the little horn to come out and rule the world. Okay, so what you have right now is the stage being set for it. So when I was studying this, since what you're talking about here and how that comes about from a micro level to a macro level, before he manifests on a macro level, you have the micro level of infiltration in all aspects of the spheres of cultural influence to influence people to accept this. They need a savior. Okay. And that's what the little horn will arise. When you go back to the book of Daniel, there's some very interesting things. I wasn't planning to go here, but I'll just go talk about the book of Daniel for a second since we're on this subject. We'll go here to the book of Daniel. Okay. I'm old school. I got the pages of the Bible in front of me and I'm turning to it. And let's go to. I won't go over that part. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go. There's so many places here you can go in Daniel. Okay. All right. What? But he's going to come in, and it says, I'm thinking Daniel chapter 11. I can't remember the verse. I'm looking at the verse. Take me a while to find it because I'm not prepared. He is going to, yeah, there it is. He'll come in with a small number of people. And so what Daniel chapter 11, chapter 2 about the Daniel statue, I think it's 7, so forth, etc. It's all talking about this little horn, the Antichrist figure coming up, and they want. So what I see culminating is like I've been saying, is the foundation must be laid by a small group of people on a micro level in every single country to point them in one direction so they accept a macro world government with this person ruling all. And there's some telltale features about this individual, and you go in the book of First John, it talks about a spirit of Antichrist already at work in the world. So the spirit of Antichrist at work in the world is preparing the way for this event. that's spoken about in Revelations there in chapter 13. Who this revealing of the little horn and the false prophet, so forth, etc. Where you're living in a system worldwide where you own nothing to be happy about it, that you will, everything you won't be able to buy, sell, or eat unless you swear allegiance to it. So what you're going to see is a small group of people taking over and becoming, they're very narcissistic. You do, their way is the only way, and you can't buy, sell, or eat unless you comply with your carbon footprint. You'll see things like that developing before this entity comes forth. And then get back to the question I'm trying to, so let me just go to Daniel, then I'll go back to that other point. But you'll see some things. Then the king shall do according, this is verse 6 of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 36, New King James. The king shall do according to his own will. He'll exalt and magnify himself above every god, shall speak blasphemies against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished, for what has been determined shall be done. So you'll see a group of elites, which the book of Revelation chapter 18 reveals as the great merchants or the great men of the earth, the very uber elitist, the elitist elite, okay? That's where this entity comes through, that power. So these people are going to bring everything together. And how the descriptions of this individual you'll see happen before he appears, is what I'm trying to say. In verse 37, he shall regard neither the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, and he shall magnify himself above all gods. Okay. So it says here, nor desire of women. In other words, when you go do an etymology study of the Hebrew word or the Aramaic word translating desire, it's kind of saying he despises womanhood. Okay? Do you see anything out there that actually despises womanhood while touting women's rights? You know, in women's sports, they're losing to a certain type of individual that has more rights than they do. Do you see a despising going on? So you'll see a foundation stone for all that to take place. Another place in Daniel, it talks about him changing seasons, times, and laws. Are you not seeing that now? In other words, change the natural order and design that God has created and put this new build back better scheme. So you'll have an uber elite class come up trying to prepare the way for this entity to appear because they need that. So this brings me to the point. There are, when the founding of America, and especially when the Capitol was being built and so forth, etc., the idea was that this was going to be the seat of world government, was the United States. And so by the time of Woodrow Wilson, so forth, etc., it developed into creating what is known as the liberal world order, with the United States, the headquarters in the United States, is where this entity would arise. He'll be like the new George Washington. And so in the Capitol dome, in the Capitol building in the dome, you have all these occult symbols up there in the paintings. I saw it many years ago, but and it's still there. You can go to the Capitol, I think, and you can look at that. And so you look at this thing of George Washington. It's called the Ascension of George Washington. Really not George Washington. It was the liberal idea, the liberal world order of this elite being called the Antichrist was going to rule, and the headquarters would be in the United States. That was the liberal world order. Now the other ones in Davos saying, no. It's not going to be that. So the liberal world order just surrendered because they don't care where the capital of this entity is going to be. They're just going to do it. And so it's going to be somewhere in all nations, or several nations are going to rule. America no longer be a superpower. America must die as a nation of freedom and stability in the world, and a force of good, so forth, etc. And a few nations need to rise up, and and somewhere out of the mix, this entity will come up and rise and rule the world. So that's kind of the template of what they are doing in a nutshell. Okay, I'm going very quickly, and so that is what you're seeing transpire. Believe it or not, you're actually seeing this ideology out front. They're speaking it, and you're hearing them say it in news clips on legitimate news sources to verify their ideas and what they want to do. So, and people are astounded in the sound of silence. They don't know what to say. This can't be real. That's conspiracy theory and all that. Well, some conspiracies happen to be true, and so you take a trip to DC, check out the artwork there, and go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art as well in DC. Go to the Smithsonian Institute. Go to all those places. If you ever get a chance, go to them. There's some very interesting things there. One of my favorite places is the Smithsonian, but I haven't been back there in years, but I just know they're great places to visit if you're in there. But there's some things I want to say, but after being and I don't want to be innocently misconstrued by the powers that be that I'm saying something that I'm not. So there, all I can say about DC. They have a really good artwork and some stuff there. Interesting place to see. Look at the buildings. I also talk about Nashville. So what I'm saying about Nashville, just think about this other place I've been talking about. You go to Nashville, and there's some interesting artwork and stuff. They have all kinds of occult symbols all over the place in Nashville. And they have a church there with motifs and reliefs of ancient Egyptian gods and stuff and hieroglyphs in it. Look who the building is built by. And they have the Temple of Athena there as well. And so you go to this big temple with this Athena there, and they actually gold plated the thing to make it look like the temple. I was in Athens or wherever. I think it's Athens. And so you have Athena. This is art. Really? This is raw paganism here in the United States. The one who will conquer. And how are they going to conquer? Through influencing, through media, influencing through schools, so forth. I won't get into all the symbolism, but you go to Nashville and take a look at that thing. Look at the Temple of Athena in Nashville. Take a look at it. Go to the park down there and look at all the symbols that are there. Just take pictures of them. Look at them. Is that happenstance? Is that a conspiracy? When you point that out, it's right there, plain face. The prior city I talked about has interesting things like that in it as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Washington's. Well, this is what we're talking about. I was leading it up here so you guys can read it. That's what we're talking about. And so culminating to that synthesis, the idea of the little horn rising up to rule the world, no longer in the United States as the center and the capital of the world, but wherever it's going to be is the mentality. I don't know where these people are thinking they're going to put it, but yeah. So Yeah, that would be interesting to see something like that as well. Okay. Just putting some comments up there. I like to comment on some things, but I'll probably have to watch my words. Yeah, the art and architect says it all. And this is true. This is true back in, as far as I can remember, and probably before I was even born, probably even before, right around where my grandfather was born in the 1870, late 1879, 1879, yeah, or 1877. He's born 1877. And so, yeah, Egyptian stuff, the people were enamored with Egyptian stuff. It was probably back in the time of Napoleon Bonaparte, or even before that. People went to Egypt and took these statues and stuff out, and these people were spellbound about it. And that spell is still in many places. In fact, many years ago, I went to New York City and we toured the Metropolitan, or whatever, the art museum up there, the big one, whatever it's called. And the reason we went there was because of the Egyptian art. And they had King Tut's tomb, the thing in a sarcophagus, and all this stuff that was there. And it was pretty cool to see, but also kind of creepy seeing all these reliefs and these statues of these old gods and these old things. Kind of creepy looking. And recently in Denver, they had one, and I don't remember how many years ago, but they had Babylonian art. I missed seeing that, but I saw some pictures of it, and people who did see it said they walked in there and said there was a strange ambiance in that place. Well, I can only imagine. And it was in the gods section or whatever it was there in the museum, and several people said that it was very creepy in there when they were looking at that stuff. And they're just statues and whatever, but it's interesting, and some of the artwork. So yeah, interesting how everything kind of goes back to Babylon. Everything goes back to Egypt, Egypt to Babylon. It just kind of connects, and people are enamored with these type of artwork. I'm finding that out. Interesting. Oh, let's see. Where am I at here? So that's pretty much. Any other questions? I know we kind of went off all over the place. There are some comments I love to post and talk about, but I got to be very careful, so please understand. About a certain individual, if he ever gets back in power, I don't know. Won't comment on that. That could, wish I could. We're under, what the song says, we're under the sound of silence right now. Until I can get my own channel and get my Rumble stream going, Odyssey stream, whatever I can stream to that people actually go to and watch. And if I get all 1,400 or so people from YouTube over to Rumble, I'll just devote most of my time to Rumble and post on YouTube. If I get axed out of YouTube, so be it. But at least you have a place where you can, at least you can tell the truth and not be censored, which is an amazing. To live in a country that believes in free speech, but to circumvent the free speech laws. I want you to think real hard at what I'm saying. Corporations are doing it. Why? Because by law, corporations, if everyone say if you are an employee of one of these organizations or any organization you work for, your employer can stop some type of free speech. Okay, by law, they can. Okay, they can do that. However, I'm not an employee, and neither are you. So they're applying that law to us who are not employees. Okay, think real hard about it. So you talk about changing time, seasons, and law. An example of what that means. There you go. And so they're applying that law. See, I work for the county and community corrections field. in various places, halfway houses inside of drug testing centers to inside the jail, as well as through the court systems as a case manager, and so forth, etc. And so you were some views you could not talk about. You were not allowed to talk anything about any religion whatsoever. Didn't matter who or what you were. You got to, when I was working, you couldn't talk about religion, and you could put Santa Clauses up for Christmas in your office, but you couldn't say nothing about Jesus is the reason for the season or something like that. And that was verboten. And so they had the right to do that because of the laws of their separation of church and state or whatever. And that might be misconstrued, whatever. I don't know, some weird, wacky thinking. So yeah, employers can do that to their employees, but they can't do it to the customers. A customer going into the store can't go, "Sir, we need to put a tape over your mouth so you'll not speak any more of those things." That's misinformation. You don't walk in a department store and you're talking about something and someone comes up and says, "Sir, I got to put a piece of tape over your mouth because you're speaking misinformation about our products." They don't do that. There'll be a big lawsuit if they did. So there you go. Okay. 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 So I am on Rumble. Just look on the description below here or wherever, and it should be up there, and you can go there and follow. And I'm posting some videos. I'll be posting the Cosmic War series. I'm doing part 3 of the Cosmic War series. The video is done. I'm going to edit it. And I was going to run it through here, hopefully next Saturday, but I probably won't on YouTube. And hopefully we'll just add it to Rumble instead. And I might do a promo video. I don't know. We'll see. And I might not even be on live stream next Saturday. Yeah, next Saturday. I got some massive amount of work to do around the house and the yard. Sorry. And I got to get it done because our weather's been so wacky in Colorado. And now it's starting to get warm. From below zero, freezing weather in the mountains, where now down here we had in the 30s and the 20s at night. We had a snowstorm blow through. Now we're 80 degrees. We were 90 degrees yesterday. That's our spring. We don't really have a spring in Colorado. It's just cold, then hot. So anyway. Okay. This is a good expression. It's all closing down as we get closer to the reevaluation of that man of Torah-ness, lawlessness. Now we are in a state of lawlessness now. And that was part of the plan. I'll talk about it in the next video about these. I've run some clips from Davos, so you know that is not made up. And you've seen some of these clips on video. It's easy to get. You can find them. Just go to the archives there, and you can watch the whole series and download it, or record it right off your screen, whatever. So a lot of times what I do, adjust the sound levels and plug it in, edit it within the so many seconds of allowed space you are before you have to put a break in there and put your Section 107 copyright thing up there, and you should be good. All right. Yeah, Jane, that's right. Winds in Loveland have been windy. It's been windy up north of you in Fort Collins. And I just want to ask you, did you go to the sculpture garden down there at Centera? That's where that thing is. So go down there and I can't pronounce the name of it. And I don't even know if I have the photograph of that. Let me look. Bring this up. I might have a photograph of the name of the place. Don't know if I do, but I'll see. Doesn't look like I do. Got everything else but that. Because it would be right there, but it's not. I have what do you call it? A photo editor, and I can bring it up, and I have a whole list of photos. I can ring them up, and then I can bring them up, and that's the photos I'm working on, and then I can save them and then post them and show you. But I can't show you that. I thought I took a picture of that, but I don't have it here. Probably on my phone. But yeah, so yep. And I'm still thinking about it, and everything costs money, and I don't know if this will work or not, but I might, for those of you interested, if you are, I will probably rent a small conference room at a hotel. I could even do the back, reserve a spot, if possible, at Johnson's Corner. It's a truck stop, but they have a restaurant there, and in the back you can set up for an event, just hold like a Bible study or a church service there, and just meet some people that are around here that in Colorado, or if anybody wants to come, and just probably start out small at first, but we can just you can do that for the people in this area. Just let you know I'm considering that. Haven't decided it yet. You're right. It makes me ill too. Wait till you go to Centera and see the spiritual section of the African art thing. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Yeah. Well, you might be volunteered for that, Jane. But I'll keep you guys posted. I'll do a video on it, and then I'll advertise that I'll be there. And I'll have to contact one of my friends, and we got to get our fingers loosened up on the guitar. Probably do a few songs, and just have a Bible study. We'll just talk, whatever. I'm not sure how I'm going to do anything yet. I'm just praying about it right now. That's probably in the future, sometime in, I don't know, in a few months. We'll see. And yeah, Michael Merriweather, yeah. So yeah, we'd like to see some of you folks here that watch the channel. If you can come out, and I'll give you plenty of time and location. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at some places right now, and one is it's a small conference room. It's not real large. I should think big, I guess, but I'm gonna do small first. It's called the Candlewood Inn or Candle Suites Inn or something here in Fort Collins. It's the south end of Fort Collins. It's over there off of. I'm trying to think. If you know the area, it is. If you know where TJ Maxx is in Fort Collins, if you go east of there, there's on a back road. There's the Candlewood Suites Inn, and they have a small conference room. It used to be pretty reasonable. And then there's the Johnson's Corner, which is right off the interstate, which that might be harder to get because a lot of people rent that out. And I don't know, I did it before. I checked it out, and it was pretty reasonable back then. But there's also, you can go to restaurants and rent a place there, but people would have to buy food in order for it to work. So, well, you could have a meal, whatever. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. And Yeah, there's a lot of people, Jane, that in churches they can't find fellowship. Especially, I don't know why it is in Colorado. Maybe not, and I haven't gone to every church here in Fort Collins, Loveland, but I put it a lot of them, and it's very difficult to find fellowship, friends in church. My wife and I sat in several churches, visited, and people were friendly, but you were never had any friends. You just sat in the pew in the back, going, "What am I here for? What is this? I mean, I'm just a face in the crowd." And there's no laughter, no get together. Or you go to they call them all kinds of names, just some group, and a connection group or something outside the church, and where the church is in these small groups or whatever, and you go to these houses, and that's fine. But it's, again, we went to many of these, and they open up a book. It's not the Bible, and they're teaching out of it, and there's no fellowship. And you sit there. Rather, it's weird. That's all I got to say. Heard about this also being in some places in the Northwest, and especially the West. I don't know why that is, but it just is. And it used not to be like that around here. In the 1980s, 90s, you went to a church, you met people, you went on church picnics, you had fun, you fellowshipped, you met people, you visited them. I'd go over, some people that live near me, I'd go over and sit on go over to their house, say, "Hi, how you doing?" "Oh, come out, sit on the back porch or in the front porch." And people would come over, and we just have just talk and and shoot the breeze, whatever. And then we'd pray for each other and things like that needed prayer. And we talked, we shared things with each other, and we helped each other that way. We knew each other's needs, and we met them. And a lot of those people gotten older, and they moved on to other states, or they passed away. And I do not know what happened. It just seemed like about the year 2000, everything died, and the churches began to get a little more austere or something. And I can't really put my finger on it, at least around here. So I went around trying to find fellowships. I found a few that were decent, um, but just could never get like any real friends like you had before. And it was so a lot of people, a lot of churches feel that way. They don't have that camaraderie or any sense of unity, anything like that at all. Why that is we can speculate and talk about that probably till the cows come home. And what changed, and you look at over the years, what changed is the seeker sensitive movement came in. And basically basically the gospel message has been altered and watered down, and into the sound of silence. So you can't teach on basic doctrines of Christ, and you can't really preach the gospel. You can teach self-help. Sometimes it's okay to, but that's all you get. Our feel-good sermon, our message, and the sermons got really short. They used to be 40 minutes long, 50 minutes long. Some of the churches, when I started going, the services would last an hour and a half. I mean, just the preaching. You never got tired of it. You're mesmerized because of how good it was. You were just saying, "Wow, this is heavy stuff." You're learning something about Jesus, and you go afterwards. We used to go to Perkins, fill up Perkins, and sit there and talk and chat about what we learned and whatever. And it was pretty awesome. But then suddenly the churches started going to 50-minute sermons. Then he went to 40-minute sermons because, by that time I was starting to preach. And so I had 50 to 40 minutes. Then when I did a jail ministry or prison ministry, I had I had an hour and a half, basically. But we did some music, we did some prayer. So my messages were from 35 to 40 to 45 minutes long during those times. And the rest was some fellowship, talking, praying with the inmates, so forth, etc. And pretty much how we did things. And so that's what I did. Over time, I would go to churches, and we had, I was told specifically, we have 35 minutes. Then it was 25 minutes. Then it was 22 minutes. And it's like, you really have to have the gift of teaching to be able to express yourself and what you, an hour's worth of notes in 22 minutes. It takes some practice to do. It doesn't come easy. A lot of people like myself have to work at it. We're kind of forced into it. But maybe the shortening of the services and the messages had something to do with the lack of fellowship, because it became more shallow because you couldn't really digest what you heard or really think upon it, or you could never really get to what I call a hard-hitting moment or a question at the end that would haunt your soul until you repent. You never could get to that point. You just had to boom, 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 bullet point, 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 done. Yay, over. Let's go out and eat. But that's what I saw transpire, at least around here. I don't know how it is. I know some places it's not. So I listened to a wide variety of people. I may not agree with everybody, what everybody teaches or says, but I do like Keith Malcolmson of Limerick City Church in Limerick City, Ireland. He'll go an hour and 10 minutes, even an hour and 16 minutes. He just goes at it, and you're sitting there, and he keeps you on the edge of your seat. He just got finished. I watched a series that he did on a few teachings on the merchants of Tarshish. I mean, I could do a message on the merchants of Tarshish in probably, I'd say, 45 minutes. He took probably almost 3 hours, over maybe 3 or 4 hours. And it was good. He got all this detail, all this information. He laid out the case and the archaeological evidence for what he was saying. And you go, amen. I know who the merchants of Tarshish are that are mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. And I know who the young lions are as well, from Keith Malcolmson, because he did an excellent job. Also, go back and research what he says. And I find the same things he researched, the archaeological evidence that he used, it's there to verify what he said, and it was incredible. So he has some fantastic messages about the new order of the age that's coming about. He has some great messages. So, and I have some other folks I listen to too, like Dr. Anthony George of First Baptist Church of Atlanta. That's Dr. Charles Stanley's. He is the pastor emeritus there. Dr. Stanley retired, and so Dr. Anthony George took it over. He is I call a Baptist-costal preacher. I mean, he is not afraid to put it out there. And his messages are good, and you learn something. And he's very good at what he does. And so I enjoy watching him. I like watching Dr. Tony Evans. Some people go, oh, no, you can't watch Dr. Tony Evans of Urban Alternative or Oak Cliff Bible Church down in Texas. I like watching him. I like his Kingdom series of being kingdom men and kingdom women. And what he's doing in the church is phenomenal. He's walking the walk and talking the talk so far. I mean, people say, oh, he's a prosperity teacher. Not really. He may have used to be a long time ago, and you gotta listen to him now. Don't judge him by what he taught in the past. People change, okay? And some of the stuff he's teaching now, he ain't afraid to call it like it is. And he's warning people too. and he has a greater far outreach than other people. So I watch him. So I may not agree with everything these people teach or they're done in certain areas, but you get fed, and you just don't die on the vine. So I suggest just looking at some of those. I also watch Skywatch TV, Prophecy Watchers, and I like the old Chuck Missler videos that I find, because I used to watch those when I was younger, and they don't really grow old the way he does it. And let's see who else. Michael Heiser, his Fringe Pop channel is good. And let's see, and of course Derek and Sharon Gilbert and their podcast. And yeah, that's what I kind of do that. And there's some other teachers. Charles Lawson of Temple Baptist Church. Can't go wrong. And I call Charles Lawson of Temple Baptist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee, as America's pastor. I met him. I went to the church there. I got nothing but good things to say. I've never met a more humble, loving man. A giant of a man as well. He's tall and kind, gentle, firm and fair, and no nonsense. And sad that he has to kind of watch his words on YouTube as well, but they'll post things on their Rumble channel that when he gets going on something, he'll come out, he'll preach. I like Charles Lawson. And if you ever get out to Knoxville, Tennessee, look up Temple Baptist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's on Woodrow Avenue. It's a really nice place, really friendly people, great place to go visit. I mean, very, very wonderful. and you got some, very good place, and really nice people there. In fact, I met a few. We're still in contact with each other, and that's unusual for a church, especially around here. You don't, hi, bye, my for, no more, so long. Jesus loves you, pat you on the back, send you on your way. That's what it's like around here. But, oh well. But it would be nice. I'm just rambling, man. I'm rambling. Jeez, I'm just rambling. But anyway, that's what the nice thing about the fellowship thing is. You need that fellowship. Temple Baptist has the fellowship, and they have fellowship down at what I saw. We visited, and First Baptist of Atlanta as well. And the reason, I watched Dr. Stanley for years. I used to watch him in the 1990s and the early 2000s, and he came on at a certain time. I can't remember. It was in the morning. And Tony Evans on that station, it was a ABC, NBC. I don't remember which station, Channel 7, 8, whatever. And it came on, and Urban Alternative came on after it. So I usually watch both of them. And so I just watched Dr. Stanley, and so when he retired and Dr. George took over, didn't know what to think at first, but then we start watching him, and I go, oh man, that church is in good hands. And some people may not like his style of preaching, but he will lay it in there. And plus he has some great Bible teachings that actually you can apply to your life as well. And so that's how I start watching him. And we still watch In Touch Ministries. In fact, excuse me, it was, I don't know how many years ago it was, 2014, whatever. We went down to Atlanta. We went to First Baptist, and they told us that we could take a tour of, took a tour of In Touch Ministries, which we did. And in the process of taking a tour of In Touch Ministries, I told them, I worked with First Nations people, and they asked me if I wanted to be a distributor of the Dr. Charles Stanley's Messenger, a little solar powered thing to take with me. So I did that and became a distributor of the Dr. Stanley Messengers up there on the reservations. And now they have, for you all, they have the Dr. Stanley Messenger app, which is the Messenger, but it's an app on your phone, so you don't have to get the little device they have. Those are more for areas where they are don't have a lot of electricity or whatever, in poorer countries where they don't have a lot of things, and you hand those out. They're free. And so I used to distribute those. Now a lot of the First Nations people that I know up there, or I haven't been there in 2 years. I'm trying to get back up there, folks. If you're watching, is they've got the Messenger app on their phone. So I don't really distribute those anymore, but I probably could if I want. But that's how I got in. And I went there and took a tour of In Touch Ministries. And then back then, but I didn't see Dr. Stanley. He was out someplace doing something. But I was impressed. I was impressed by both places and what they actually do, especially In Touch Ministries as well as First Baptist, especially In Touch Ministries. They had a 24-hour prayer thing going for people. It was impressive. It was very impressive. So that's how and that's kind of the folks I started listening to. And I listened to some other folks that I should probably have not listened, but I won't name. And I thought they were good, but I don't think they're even on air anymore because I guess truth to be told on them, and they're no more. Just how it goes, And so, you just have to just listen and choose, and just know that you may not agree with everything they say, but overall, if they are preaching the word of God, people are getting saved, and they're exposing the agendas that are going on in the world today, and talking about current events. You're pretty in a good. You're in a, at least you're listening to something that's right. So, okay. I'm gonna look here. Okay. Okay, I'll look right here. I'm going to put some stuff up here. Yep, that's right. That's what we need. Okay, we have here. There's somebody else. I'm looking at some. Okay. Okay, I'm David Carico. I'll have to look up that individual, David Carico, myself, because I'm always looking for people. I'll write down some of these names when I get done here. And and you have someone mentioned a midnight ride, Pastor Douglas Hamp from the Way Congregation in Littleton Conger. That I'll have to check that out. Littleton Congregation. Jack Hibbs from Calvary Chapel. I remember the name, but I can't place it. But I also watch Rock Harbor Church out of Bakersfield with Brandon Holthus. He's gotten so many strikes and so many things on YouTube. He's going predominantly Rumble. He'll do a partial video and then move everybody over to Rumble. Most of the people following him, he has, 50 or so thousand people on Rumble following him, and YouTube he has 17,000. And what we notice on YouTube, your people who are following you can go down. Not, the people who watch you actually and like your video will actually go down in views right before your eyes. We all notice this. And so I track it and I go, well, I have 110 likes. All of a sudden I'm down to 26. What the heck? Gets above a certain number, goes back to 26. I've seen it many on my videos. Yeah, folks. The sound of silence. Okay. Okay. The Bible Project with Tim Mackey and Joan Collins. I don't not heard these people, but I'm just putting them out there in case other people want to write down their names and check them out. And I always like checking out what other people are watching and what they're saying and stuff. Okay. Do we need to smash the like button to encourage more viewership? Yep, that's how it works. Or on Rumble, they have a Rumble section. I don't remember right off my hand. I don't, you Rumble it or whatever, and you hit that. It's the same thing. It increases viewership. The more people that hit, the more views you get. On the tube, they have a tendency to frown upon things, and you'll actually see your thing. Josh Peck told me that. Derek Gilbert's mentioned that, and so forth, etc. I never met Derek Gilbert or Sharon Gilbert in person. Never met Josh Peck. Only seen them on from a screen face to face like that. They're very nice people. Yeah, but then we kind of we chat a little bit sometimes, and they notice this, and that's why everybody's thinking, well, Subsplash or some other type of program. Have your own website. You have to pay for it. Have the cloud space so you can put your videos up there, and you don't have to worry about censorship. That's the way to go anymore. And then you have other views like Rumble, Odyssey, whatever else is out there, BitChute. There's a bunch of them. But so that's what you need. Only use YouTube rarely. So, okay, well, folks, I've been on an hour and a half. I don't even know what I wasn't even planning to really do too much today. But, but as you can see, didn't have any streaming issues unless I delete one of the Facebook channels. So I will just show on my private group page. And I again apologize. If you're listening on the Facebook, you can't comment. I can't read your comments. For some reason, I don't know how to make your comments appear, but when I tried, I got a compatibility error with the system. So I can't see or post your comments like I used to. Don't do that. Can't see that anymore. I know you probably have some questions. I've not seen your question. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and go. Yeah. Yeah, they do things like that. They most certainly do. You have to read the comment I just popped up. I'm not going to read it out loud, but you can see it on the screen there, and that's what happens. I mean, I've literally seen 76 likes go down to 26 right in front of me. So, yeah, I hate with a righteous anger. No, a righteous anger, not a bad anger. I hate arrogant, condescending twits. No other way to say it. Who think they are better than thou, and they have a right that their knowledge is far superior to anything, and it's their way or the highway. I just I'm like Jesus. I want to get the cords in the temple and chase them out. Sometimes, you just don't like these condescending twits. If they don't repent, they're not going to be headed to a very nice place. But these type of people rarely listen to you. So, especially when they're found wrong constantly, documented evidence, like the Durham reporting proved a lot of these people absolutely emphatically wrong. Think about it. Just amazing. Well, anyway, I'll leave with that. You guys be blessed in Jesus' name. Didn't want to go in this long, but enjoy the video. Sorry about the breakup in the beginning of the video because I will have to probably do one YouTube channel at a time. I might do one page and share it to the next or something like that. I like to do both YouTube pages. For those of you, not YouTube, but Facebook pages. On the Facebook, my home page actually ended up becoming, it was just family, and all of a sudden, all these people got on and started writing stuff, and I said, I give up. So I just let it go. I had a private group thinking that you can privately say things you want to say and you don't have to worry about being put in FB jail. And, but they still can do that. Been threatened by a few times. Some people post things and I have to remove it. If I don't, you can get that taken off, and got a lot of work to get the people that I have up there now to be members of both pages. And I know not everybody watches from that, but still it's a lot of work. And then have it removed totally is, if I don't remove a post and I get notified of it, that this content, whatever, then I have to delete it. I had to do it with several people. And some of them people, man, some of the comments do deserve to be removed, and I will remove those on my own if I see those. But that's what I'm saying. You just have to be careful anymore. It's really weird, but I don't understand why. I know what's going on. I know the game. I know the routine. I know who they're hooked in with. I know where they go. They love traveling to Switzerland. I know that a lot of these people with these, they in fact, they were in Switzerland and probably are still there, yupping it up, eating $50 burritos and $20 lattes with no problem. Don't not even think about it. And they all fly in their private jets and have their own private police force, so forth, etc. Amazing. So anyway, you guys be blessed in Jesus' name, and I'll try to do another live stream next week if I can. If not, I'll be doing yard work or whatever I got to do. You guys be blessed in Jesus' name. Okay. Yeah. I like her. You like your comment, and I will not read it, but that's what you can see for your other comments. Wow. Look at that. Just talking about that situation. See that, what I'm talking about? One sees 11, now one sees 3 likes. Amazing. Hallelujah. You guys be blessed. And when I get this thing going and figure out how to get this going in the probably Candlewood Inn is where I'll go. I'll let everybody know. I'll give you plenty of notifications so people can make plans. You guys be blessed. Now, someone sees 23 likes. Okay. And so right now I have 20 watching. But anyway, you guys be blessed. I'm going to have to head out of here and getting late. And I hear my yard calling me. I got to take care of my yard. Even though it's probably like summer outside now, I have to get out there. And we had so much wind here. I have all this red bark. I did have red bark. It blew most of it out, probably to Kansas by now. So I have to replace red bark. I have to pull weeds. I have to spray the yard to get rid of these viney weeds. I got to kill those with this stuff I got. Man, I'm doing yard work. Hallelujah. You guys be blessed in Jesus' name.